What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Wiregrass High School Football Report, brought to you by Digital Strategies and Wiregrass Daily News. This is your weekly look at all things high school football in the Wiregrass. I am your host, Phillip Jordan, the in-studio host and producer of Tulsa Woods Football on 96.9, the legend and Auburn writer for Last Word on college football. This week on the show, we'll be looking back at the second round of the Alabama High School Athletic Association Playoffs, which Wiregrass teams are advancing to the third round and which teams did not. Also, we'll be joined by Elba Tigers head coach Marc Sieving. The Tigers defeated Linden 49-14 on Friday night, so we'll recap that game with Coach Sieving here on the show, and of course we'll let you know what's going on with round 3 with Wiregrass teams in the playoffs. Before we do all that, let you guys know you can find me in the podcast. Find me on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcasts available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you leave just 4 stars on Apple Podcasts, you're just a straight-up hater. You can also check me out over on YouTube at the Phillip Jordan Sports YouTube channel. Check out the show, of course, over at Wiregrass Daily News. You can always email me at sports.philipjordan@gmail.com. Now, let's go around the Wiregrass. All right, we're going to start off in 7A. Enterprise defeated Baker 30-14. Enterprise, this is the first time advancing to the semifinals in 31 years. And just a refresher, in 7A, only 16 teams make the postseason, so that's why they have less rounds than the other ones, 1A through 6A. It was a big game from quarterback Mason Burkhart. 10 of 13 in the game, 163 with 1 touchdown. He had 120 on the ground rushing, also caught a passing touchdown as well. Eric Winters, Auburn commit, he had 128 yards rushing in the game and 80-yard touchdown run late in the game. Game was 16-14. Enterprise was ahead. Baker had made the game close before Burkhart connected with Zay Millery for a touchdown to make it 23-14 with 8:37 left in the game. Viger defeated Eufaula as we jump into 5A 41-0, so Eufaula ends the year at 6-6. UMS Wright defeated Andalusia 7-6, and Andalusia ends their year at 7-5. In 4A, Tallahassee defeated Ashford 40-14, and that puts Ashford at 6-6 to end the year. In 3A, Houston Academy defeated Thomasville 45-33. Gabe Glover had 2 receiving touchdowns in the game. In 2A, and I was at this game, Cottonwood defeated Goshen 52-24. Quarterback Braylon Morris, big game here. Cottonwood went through the air here. Early on, I thought Goshen was moving the ball early, but Cottonwood moved the ball pretty much at will for most of the game and all of the game, but it did a lot of damage through the air. Quarterback Braylon Morris was 8 of 12 for 322 and 2 touchdowns. Running back King Campbell did have 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cottonwood was up 30-10 at halftime. Like I said, Goshen had a good start with Jalen McNabb getting an early touchdown, but the Bears took over after that. Ayrton defeated Clark County 27-7, so Wells Gainey had 152 yards and 1 touchdown. Highland Home defeated Providence Christian 42-6. Highland Home stays undefeated. Providence ends their year at 9-3. In 1A, of course, we're about to have Marc Sieving on to talk about this. Elba defeated Linden 49-14. Alvin Henderson had another big game, 231 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that is your look around the Wiregrass. Going to take a quick break. When we return, I'll be joined by Elba head coach Marc Sieving right here on the Wiregrass High School Football Report. All right, everybody, joining me on the show this week is Elba Tigers head coach Marc Sieving. Elba defeated Linden on Friday night 49-14 to advance to the third round of the playoffs. And Coach Sieving, appreciate you making the time to come on.
Thanks, Phillip. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you and always enjoy doing your show.
Absolutely. So you guys had to go on the road on Friday night, and again, like I said, you guys won 49-14. What were some of the keys for you guys to come out and playing so well on Friday night?
Well, I'll tell you, man. I think more than the actual football. One of our big focus points last week was, guys, we're going to be on the road. It's the longest trip we've had to make all year. It's a very difficult environment to play in up there. The field's not in the best condition. We got to dress at the school and then drive to the field to play the game, and nowhere to go at halftime. So all of those things, I think as a coaching staff, concerned us the most. How do we handle all the conditions and all the external factors, and so we kind of talked about it with the team on Monday, and we all made a decision, that, hey, we're not going to discuss the condition of the field. We're not going to discuss the facilities. We're not going to discuss any of those things that really don't matter. And instead, we're just going to focus on the first play of the game. And then after that, the next play. And I'll tell you, man, our guys handled the trip really well. We stopped at Thomasville High School. They got a little park nearby, and we ate. And I had to drive my vehicle because I had to go to Montgomery the next morning if we won. So, I was interested when we got to Thomasville to talk to our coaches. And was like, how was it on the bus, And our coaches were like, man, they handled it great. You couldn't hear a sound. They're focused. They're ready to go. And so, man, that really put me at ease. And I could tell when we got to Linden, that our kids were dialed in. So, when kickoff time came, it was, I think all of us felt really good about it. And I was proud of the kids at that point just because they had, handled it all so well up to that point. So that was kind of an awesome thing right there,
Yeah, and just for people out there are unaware to listen, how long of a ride or drive is that from Elba to Linden?
Yeah, it took us 2 hours and 45 minutes on the road, and then like I said, we stopped for about 45 minutes. So I mean, it was a trip, and our kids aren't used to that, and so like I said, I was really proud of the way they handled it. And then, come kickoff time, we knew that, Linden, man, they're just blessed with a bunch of athletes, a lot of team speed, really, really big linemen that, once again, in 1A ball, I mean, we're not used to seeing 300 pounds across the board there. So, we knew there would be some challenges. They had a quarterback that was probably faster than any player that we've faced this year. So, we definitely had some concerns going in as far as, what Linden could do. But I'll tell you, man, we had a really good week of practice and I think that matters, a lot. And our focus all year has been, hey, let's try to get a little bit better, and there was a time, when we were 1-2 and things were not good and we just lost a big game to McKenzie and, our back was kind of behind the wall, and we were like, hey, let's just focus on today at practice. And we've kind of done that over the year, and that's kind of been like one of our themes. And our guys, there's a lot of room for improvement off of Friday night, but our guys have done that up to that point. And, we try to be a different team every week, a little bit better than we were the week before. And, man, our defense came out. They popped a few plays there at the start, but our defense came out and got us a stop. And then we took about an 8 or 9 play drive and took it down the field and scored. And so, we were off to the races then. And really proud of both sides of the ball, defense, offense, how we played on both sides. We got a bunch of stops defensively, and then we were able to pop some big plays, have some explosive plays, but also drive the ball. I think we only had 1 turnover in the game, which was a little bit unfortunate, but it didn't hurt us. And I think at halftime we had a 21-7 lead. So coming out, we got the ball out of the half, so we were like, hey, let's go down and score right here, and we might have a chance to put this thing out of reach, and we did. So and then got a stop right after that. So really proud of the way of our kids and the way that they played. And man, I'll tell you what, we had a great crowd. Our band was unbelievable, and cheerleaders and all of our fans. And that plays a big role. It almost felt like a home game.
Yeah, and you talk about, and actually I wanted to start with defense. I know a lot of times with any coach I start with offense, but defensively, And I was looking at some stats just for them from Linden, and you brought it up. Their quarterback, who on the ground over 1,400 yards on the year, according to Max Preps, and their running back Brown over 1,000. So you had almost 2,500, yards rushing between just those two guys. And as a team, you guys held them to 77 yards rushing, which I know the score kind of indicates that a little bit. But early on, what were the keys to limiting their running game?
Well, I'll tell you, we've I think, just having a great week and continuing to progress on our run fits with our D-line and our linebackers. And, they did pop they had some big plays on us in the passing game that we gave up that were a little bit unfortunate that led to their scores. But, I tell you, we preach that to our guys all the time. Hey, if we can stop the run and make teams one-dimensional and make teams – have to throw the ball a lot more than they want to, then we can loosen up our defense a little bit and apply some pressure and work some different coverages and things like that. So, man, it's really about coming out and saying, hey, we're going to be the most physical team. And I think we did that on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. And, with our guys playing both ways and a lot of their guys playing both ways, if you can come out in 1A football and establish yourself as the most physical team, then, that can take you to a win,
Yeah, and, you talked about, I don't know, highlights of your players. I saw the stats from the game, again, using Max Preps. Jacob Watkins and Jaden Atkins, both 16 tackles apiece, 3 TFLs. And as a team, you guys had 14 TFLs and had some 3 sacks. Don't want to forget Brady Johnson with an interception, too. But just some really great individual performance on Friday night, too.
Yeah, man, those two guys have, man, they're the heartbeat of our defense, Caden and Jacob, and both of them are playing linebacker for us. And Jacob is Caden just plays with unbelievable effort. He makes a lot of plays that he's not supposed to make because he just hustles so hard. And then Jacob, man, he's kind of like our coach on the field out there. He gets us in the right position, gets us set up, gets our defense aligned right. And, that's a big part of it is with all the formations out there and the motions and the things that people are doing to try to gain an offensive advantage. Getting lined up is like 90% of the battle on defense. And if you can get lined up right, then your guys can go back and just rely on their technique from there. It means it's huge as far as trying to stop an opposing team. And there we knew that quarterback, like you said, I mean, he's a runner first, and so hey, let's take away what he does best and try to get it, see if he can beat us with his arm, and he made some plays, but ultimately they weren't able to do that. So it was great night for our defense and our whole team.
Over on offense, of course, Alvin Henderson had another big game for him, over around 231 yards and 4 touchdowns. And I was watching some of the huddle highlights I found over on Max Preps, getting ready for this. And you guys were up 7-6, and he had a big touchdown run. He kind of put you guys at 14-6. And there's another one. And I don't know how many people that just watch football casually, Coach, will look at this as a big moment, or maybe they underrate this, but you guys were backed up inside the 5. He had a big 52-yard run to get y'all out to midfield. I think it was still 14-6 at that time, so you may be thinking Linden might be thinking, okay, we get a stop, we might can score. But just to kind of, for those couple plays there, what did you see out of Alvin Henderson in the game?
Well, I'll tell you, man, he's just so dynamic with the ball in his hand. And, even to this day, I've been coaching him all this time for 5 years, and he still amazes me with some of the things that he can do. And, but I'll tell you what, a lot of that is predicated on how the rest of those guys play. And, that are on our offense. And, people know, it's no secret. Alvin's going to get his touches. And Alvin is a guy that can sometimes make something out of nothing. But there's also a lot of times where, he's got really, really good blocking by his teammates, and he would be the first one to say that. And I'll tell you, man, when, it's just our philosophy with the way that we do things offensively is we're going to run the ball and we're going to try to do a lot of shifting and moving around and things like that to try to gain a numbers advantage on you, and then we're going to block you and let Alvin do his thing. And now the other thing I think that's really, really helped us, including Alvin, is we've got, so many other guys now that have turned into weapons on offense. Our receiver, Trey Davis, had a couple of runs and a couple of catches. We don't throw it much, but I think we were, 2 for 3, which, that's a good percentage. So we'll take that. And then Jacob Ledbetter at the wingback position, Jacob Watkins at the blocking back position. He got a couple touches. And then Adkins at quarterback. He's just a load, and he's a guy that really runs things for us on offense. And not only does he do a great job, he's so different than your typical quarterback because we ask him to throw and we ask him to hand the ball off and stuff like that. But we, 90% of the time we're asking him to block too. So, he's just a rare, what I call just a classic football player. I mean, he can do a lot of things really, really well. And, when our guys and our offensive line's up there clicking and making their calls and their checks and all that stuff, and we're executing, then we're pretty difficult to stop.
Yeah, I had wrote down the Jacob Ledbetter touchdown there. He had the one there when y'all were close to ending on the goal line. Of course, Caden Atkins also had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. So again, and it's got to kind of bring it back, Alvin Henderson a little bit. All these other teams are going to focus on him so much. And then it just like you said, gives the opportunity for these other guys to make big plays and shine. Just because some teams may just be worried about him, then boom, like you said, you got Caden Atkins, which I'm sure there's a lot of defenders be glad when he's no longer playing high school football around here because he looks like he's going to hurt you more than you hurt him on the tackle.
Yeah, you're right. He's a real powerful runner, as are all of our runners. I'll even say that about Jacob Ledbetter. I mean, none of our guys are scared of contact, and Alvin included. He's got that breakaway speed, but there's also a lot of times, man, where if he can get to the that second level, he's looking to try to punish some of those defenders, and then those guys got to turn around on offense. So it's like I said, winning the physicality part of the game is. It just provides you such a tremendous advantage on both sides of the ball. And, I think if you look at some of the games that we played in this year, you'll see where maybe we struggled in the first half. But at some point we really start to wear on you a little bit. And, and that's not to say there's been some teams out there that have done a great, great job of stopping us and making us adjust and doing things like that. And, but just proud of our kids' effort and proud of the way they're getting after it. And, they really, really want it. And we're not talking about the next round. We're not talking about the big game after that. We're talking about, coming in and trying to get better at practice tomorrow and then the next day. And let's focus on the small things because those are the things that ultimately make a big difference. And as explosive as our offense has been, we've been saying it all year, we've given up a lot of points, different times during the year, but really feel like we've gotten better defensively. And our defense is going to be in a situation where they have to make a play to win us a game, and it's going to happen. And so they know that, and they're trying to continue to improve. And if we do that on both sides of the ball, then we like our chances.
And obviously this Friday you guys will be playing Georgiana. You'll be back at home. Of course, this is a team you're familiar with. You guys beat them back on October 18th, 49-22. Just anything from that previous game or just that you're familiar with Georgiana help you guys out in the preparation going into this game?
Yeah, I think first off, that Coach Best has done a really good job with those guys over there. They, after they lost to us, they came back the next week, got a region win, and then they had a week off for the playoffs. And, here they are. I believe they've been the underdog as far as the seeding goes, for both games and have won them both. So, we've got those films in today and started looking at them. And, man, they're just a talented team. They got a lot of talent. They got some they're very similar to Linden in the sense that they've got size and speed, which is a rare combination for 1A. And, they're not the same team that we played, I guess a month ago or however long it was ago. They're better, and there's no doubt about it. You can tell by watching them, and got a dynamic quarterback that's also a really good runner. And, they play with a lot of grit and find ways to win and find ways to get defensive stops. So, yeah, I mean, we said it Friday night after the game when we immediately heard that Georgiana won. We said, the fact that we beat them, I guess a month ago has no bearing on how this next game's going to turn out. So, it's as far as I'm concerned and we're concerned, this is a totally different opponent, and that's how we're going to prepare for them. And, we got I know we're going to have our hands full because there's no easy games from here out. There's no, it's going to be a tough one.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing how it goes Friday night, Coach. Good luck on Friday night against Georgiana. A lot of people in Wiregrass will be rooting for you guys, and I appreciate you coming on. Anything else you'd like to say before we close up our conversation?
Yeah, I think I'd just like to say, if you don't have anything to do Friday night and, you're looking for a good game, we got a great stadium. We got a great fan base. And, I know Georgiana is going to bring some folks too. And, I just encourage you to come out if you want to see some good football Friday night and come check us out. We'd love to have you there.
All right, everybody go if you can. Go check out the Elba Tigers as they play Georgiana in the third round of playoffs. And once again, Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck on Friday, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate you, man.
96.9 The Legend is your connection to classic country legends. But Digio Strategies has other options too. News Talk 103.9 is your source for America's top news and entertainment shows like Rick and Bubba in the morning, Glenn Beck from 9 till 11 a.m., and Clay Travis and Buck Sexton middays from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Sean Hannity, Lars Larson, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, and others fill your day with the latest news and views from America's top conservative voices. America at Night and Coast to Coast AM keep you company and connected throughout the night. Plus, Fox News, the Alabama Radio Network, and Wiregrass Daily News keep you informed with national, international, state, and local news. And with more musical choices like All the Hits 106.7 KMX, Today's Country 95.5 WTVY, and Music 107.7, Digio Strategies gives you more choices and more variety. Listen on air, online, and on our apps. 96.9 The Legend is just the beginning.
All right. Once again, thanks to Coach Sieving for coming on the show and talking about the Elba Tigers. Of course, they'll be playing Georgiana this Friday in the third round of the playoffs. Now we're going to look at the schedule for this week, and actually just going to go through the brackets, who's remaining all over the state. So it won't just be Wiregrass teams we'll talk about here. Now looking at 7A, now Enterprise will be at Thompson in the semifinals this Friday night. 8-4 Enterprise at 9-3 Thompson. Thompson defeated Auburn this past Friday night in a kind of surprising game, 34-31. Now, looking at the other half of the bracket, you have Central Phoenix City will be taking on Hoover. Central defeated Vestavia Hills this past week, and then Hoover defeated Opelika. So, hey, we could get if we get Enterprise and Central, we will be getting a all 7A Region 2 state championship game. Now, looking at 6A, now we do not have a team in the Wiregrass from 6A in the postseason, but just kind of looking where everybody is at. On the south side of the bracket, you'll have Hueytown playing at Pike Road, and then Spain Park will be playing at Saraland. On the other half, on the north side of the bracket, you'll have Fort Payne at Oxford, and you'll have Muscle Shoals playing at Parker. In 5A, which we no longer have any teams in Wiregrass from 5A playing, you will have on the south bracket, you will have Central Clay County at Catholic Montgomery, and you'll have UMS Wright playing at Viger. On the north bracket, you will have Ramsey playing at Moody, and you'll have Comer playing at Leeds. In 4A, and once again, all the 4A teams in the Wiregrass have been eliminated. Well, on the South bracket, you will have St. Michael will be playing at Fairfield, and then you will have Tallahassee playing at Jackson. On the north side of the bracket, it'll be Cherokee County at Brooks, and then Anderson will be at West Morgan in 4A. In 3A, of course, you will have Houston Academy at 11-1 playing at 12-0 TR Miller. And looking at the bracket on the other half of the South bracket, you'll have Bayside Academy playing at Southside Selma. In the north part of the bracket, Fife will be at Piedmont, and you'll have Winfield at Mars Hill. In 2A, 12-0 Cottonwood will be at 11-1 Reeltown. Reeltown is the team that knocked out Cottonwood last year. You'll also have 12-0 Highland Home at Ayrton. And just looking at the bracket, that's your South bracket. So, hey, who knows if we could have a Cottonwood Ayrton matchup in the south side of the bracket. But on the north side, you will have Winston County at Sullivan, and then you will have Pigsby at Tuscaloosa Academy. And then in 1A, of course, we just mentioned it, 8-4 Georgiana will be at 10-2 Elba. The winner of that game will meet with Maplesville and Milry for the south part of the bracket. In the north, you will have Barry Fayette at Wadley, and then you'll have Hackleburg at Linden. So that is your look at 1A. And then for AHSAA, they will be playing their championship games this week. They'll be playing all of them on the 21st, which is this Thursday, and all of the games will be played at the Crampton Bowl. In 3A, you will have Chambers playing Bessemer Academy. In AA, it'll be Lowndes Academy versus South Choctaw Academy. And then in 1A, it'll be Cornerstone Christian taking on Macon East Academy. So that is your look at the next round of games in the playoffs, AHSAA Plain State Championship games, and then, of course, 7A is in the semifinals. And we'll have all this to recap for you next week on the Wiregrass High School Football Report. Appreciate you taking time out, making the show part of your day. Really appreciate it. When you guys check the show out, try to keep this thing on schedule every Monday morning. And look, as long as there's still teams in the Wiregrass playing, we're going to keep pumping out the podcast every single week. You know where to find the show: Apple Podcast, Spotify, Wiregrass Daily News. Just wherever you get your podcast, you can find the Wiregrass High School Football Report. You can also check it out over on YouTube at the Phillip Jordan Sports YouTube channel. And you can email me at sports.phillipjordan@gmail.com. Go check out one of these teams. Look, Elba's at home this week, and so is Ayrton. So go check those out here in the Wiregrass. Anyways, till next week. Bye-bye.